What's up, guys? My name is Sam Fisher, and I got second place at the Omaha Regional with Atlantean Mermail. Went 7-1, only loss being to the undefeated guy, and it just being a couple hands where he opened really great. I played as optimally as I could, but there was really nothing I can do. Happens sometimes, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! But we had a great time. Got second, got a deck box. Just got home, so wanted to get a deck profile filmed while my thoughts are fresh in my head. So let's get into it. All right, so shout out Alice Cap, best field center. Deck felt really good today. Just the flow of everything. The ratios felt really good. I can't really think of any time I really hard bricked. It's a 44 main deck. I paired up against 3 Ryziel today, 2 of them being Fiendsmith and 2 Malice, and the other were Bestial Centurion, and it was at the start of first 2 rounds, a couple, a Fire King Azamina and another like a 60 card rogue pile that was at the beginning, but mainly toward the end of the tables I was cooking Ryziel and Malice. So we got, of course, starters. The only way to play this deck is max rarity. So we have our 3 prints. Best 1-card combo in the game, especially now that OSS is banned. This 1 prints gets you to basically an FTK board. Rip 2, double negate, double pop. Well, mine actually does 4 pops because I run a Virtue Engine, so what's more to say about that? I'll do the 3 ofs first. 3 Shadow Squad. This when pitch summons any level 4 or lower from deck and modulates levels to 7. So this is, of course. Then we got 3 Abyss Shrine, the Atlantean Spirit. This is your best extender through Droll or Shifter, so you want to see this in your opening hand a lot, so you play 3 of that. Both of these are treated as both Atlantean and Mermail, so they bridge the 2 archetypes, kind of instead of the 2 kind of being like separately, so a lot of the times I'll search this off of prints if I already have no other extenders in hand to kind of help play around hand traps. And of course, this summons Golicanth from deck, so goated. 3 Abyss Pike, you play 3 because I play the Golicanth, so you need 3 fish to summon. I play 1 more fish that you'll see in the 1-of section. But obviously, this is a 1-card kind of, not a 1-card, but this is a starter if you have any like Shadow Squad or Dragoons or any water discard, because even in your worst case scenario, if it's like a blank water, you can still summon it, discard, add the Abyss Shrine, tribute something else for the Golicanth. That way there is 1 pike already on your board. So if they target the Golicanth with like an Imperm or a Veiler, you can chain Golicanth to negate. So great 3 of. And then of course, the old 2 Dragoons. You all know this card. Non-once per turn, add any Sea Serpent. Goated card. Dragoons, MVP, and then Old the Abyss Teuses. I don't play the Gund. Don't play Gund. It's a brick. Please don't play Gund. Especially in this format, you don't want to see a lot of those bricks. This loses a little value because you're not playing the Gund. It can really only search one of these 3 guys, and if you already used it, you're just kind of adding another. But it still has great value. You need it as a 3 of, 1 discard, search. It's Teus and Dragoons is full, combo, anti-nib. It's great. So that's it for, those are all the 3 of Mermail Atlanteans I play. Now we'll get into the 1-ofs. Abyss Megalo. Some people, I've seen lists where they cut this. I was going back and forth between. I opted to keep it in. I really enjoyed it today. It came up a couple times, especially going second, help push and tributing the Neptibus off of the board to get back another like level 4 if I need Dragoons. Also searching the Reborn. is great. I feel like you need a Sea Serpent to search off of Dragoons. That's a discard outlet rather than Minstrel. Minstrel's great as a one of, but Minstrel really doesn't do anything going second. So love the Megalo. Wouldn't cut it. Maybe when the Supreme Darkness support comes out, you could replace that with the Poseidrus since that's a searchable. Sea Serpent discard. Moulin Glacia. This card is it. It is a card. It was great today. You know, obviously, anytime you get 2 hand rip, this is the plan if I get like Fuolost or Prilliad. Typically, I do this kind of in combo. That way, I can get 2 extra deck monsters on board. Usually, I try and go for like a Dweller and a Gaios, and then summon this. So even though they drew 2 cards off of Fulos or Prilliad, kind of whatever one, they still end up sending to grave. So it kind of helps even out the count of the Mulcharmies. Also, I've had games where like, because of the amount of non-engine people are in, at a Ryziel player who opened 4 non-engine and a starter, so I was able to just, my board was just, it was about summon Moulin Glacia. I had a couple non-engine that I just set and passed until the Fulos wore off on me next turn, as I was able to push for game. So, nasty card. Gotta love it. One of Deep Sea King, Colacanth. Amazing card. Summons any amount of fish from deck. This by itself in my build gets you to the Mermail King, so they're all untargetable, Double Toad, and a Dragite. So 2 Omnis and a Spell Trap Negate that are all untargetable. So if you're going against Ryziel players or even Ultimate Slayers in the format, because people are siding in it for Ryziel, your XZs and your Synchro is untargetable, so they can't do Ultimate Slayer on them. If they want to use it, they're forced to send a Link monster to out the king before they can target this. So, no, obviously amazing card. This helps so much going second. So a lot of in my side patterns, I'll side out my 2 tuners. You'll see later, Minstrel and Shift, the Goatee tuner. I'll side those out. So even though I'm not getting like a fish tuner off of this to do synchro plays with, it's just a 3 pike. This helps push so much. Typically, the going second game plan is I'll use all my Mermails and Atlanteans to try and bait out interaction, push through the board. Then once they've exhausted their resource and I've exhausted mine, a Bishrine Tribute, summon this guy from deck, fish, 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 fish. And from there, I should be able to either push for game or set up a board to take care of any follow-up they have. So, Colacanth was great today. I ran one of Minstrel. I cut it from 3 to 1 to make room for more non-engine this format, since that's what Ryziel and Malice do call for. Sadly, running this at 3 was great going first, but you know, I can't plan to go first every single game. It's just not going to happen. I need to cut down for non-engine. So, if anything, it's fine as a one-of Sea Serpent. Typically, what I'll do if I have already extenders in hand, like Shadow Squad or Dragoons, off of my prints, I'll send Dragoons, add Dragoons, then Dragoons search this, and then pitch this with kind of what I want to trigger, see their hand, then later I'll Moulin Glacia them, search, so that's essentially 3 ripped out. Even though it does go back in the end phase, you have complete hand knowledge. I never missed the second and third copy of this, so I'll keep this at 1 moving forward. Shift Fairy the Goatee. I did run the level 2 Goatee tuner to have max value off of this board with the 2 synchros to get the Dragite. Really great. This banish literally typically times typically I'll use this to banish it from my grave just to get an extra body on board too during the standby phase. This also kind of baits my opponent into thinking I have like a synchro in the extra deck when it makes. So typically the opponent tries to interact with this even though this doesn't do it. You'll see later in my extra deck kind of what I run. And then of course the one of infantry. I don't want to run above 44 cards. If I magically could fit one more card into and keep it 44, it honestly would be a second infantry. Hard opening this was great. Anytime I had it, dealt with a lot of floodgates. Anytime I drew this, and even as a 1-of. I love infantry. So those were, so I ran 6 1-ofs. And then on to just kind of just consistency and engine pieces. 1 of Prosperity, 1/1 extra copy of Neptibus. This is your Abyss spell you're searching. This is a Reborn, and it protects the monster. Also, it shuffles stuff back from your grave, kind of giving you a grind game. Virtue Stream. I do run the Virtue Dragon and the Virtue Stream. This was great today. I need to obviously take it out going second, but going first, making this is my plan for Shifter. Anytime I got Shifter this format, you do the Coelacanth, make Bahamut. Bahamut will summon the Virtue Dragon from the extra deck and search this. So this is a Water Icarus attack or Sword Soul Blackout. Target 1 you control, 2 your opponent controls, destroy them. And also the Graveyard effect came up a lot today. So you can banish this from your grave to target 1 monster on the field. It could be just any, your side, your opponent's. If it is water, it's protected by card effects. But if it's not water, it becomes water. So a lot of the time when you're going up against Fiendsmith boards, and, you know, Virtue Stream earlier in the turn, kind of get their bodies off board. If they have extension to get 2 more monsters, and then they go into Closed Moon, you banish this from your graveyard, target their Closed Moon, it becomes water. So now it's a water fiend. So they can't link it into Requiem. So it cuts them off of the Fiendsmith line that way, and their link arrows are pointing toward you. So the turn water effect actually came up a good amount to cut off Fiendsmith plays because they need light fiends. So that was actually, did really good for me today. And then, of course, onto non-engine. 3 Foolos. This is obviously the better Mulch Army. This format for sure. I moved Perelia to the side deck. Since obviously this hits both Malice and Ryziel, but Perelia kind of just hits Ryziel. Malice can kind of ignore it. So you main these 3. Perelia is a great side card. I didn't miss having the 6 Mulch Armies. I moved out the Perelia for more hand traps, non-engine. 3 Ash, you know, best generic hand trap in the game. It's Ash Blossom. Ghost Ogre. This massively overperformed for me today. Throughout the week during Friends testing, I was swapping back and forth between Ogre or Valor in the main deck. This was the correct call. Even with Yubel being in the format, Ghost Ogre and their Malice monsters, they're like Link 2s like Splash Mage or the lizard they go into. Yeah, ogering that, and of course, obviously the Ryziel, it ogres the duo drive, and being able to do it on my turn is huge, which obviously Valor can do it. Even though if I have multiples, I can use both, Ogre massively overperformed for me today, so I'm keeping those in. I think Ogre's a great card this format. And 3 Infinite Permanents, Negation, obvious. And you're a water deck, so you can play 3 Dominus Impulse. The only thing you got to be careful with when playing this, obviously, Euphulos is a win, and Ghost Ogre's a light. So Euphulos earlier in the turn, so you're not really worried about this. If you open any hands going second, I think it happened with me Malice today, you open Ogre and Impulse. You got to be sure you use the Ogre before you use the Impulse from hand. Going first, you don't have to worry because you can just set this and you're not worried about the restriction on light monsters, but just going second, you got to be wary. Use the Ogre first, then they follow up with like Fiendsmith Engine or other engine, then you Impulse to save yourself from the Ogre. And then last spot, you know, power 1 of called by. Great. Alright, onto the extra deck. For links, we play the 1 Abyss Keeper. You play this if you open the Deep Sea King in your hand. So you link, it summons it to the zone it points to, so it's a way to special it from your hand. Also, this can help if you've already exhausted your normal summon and you're sitting with like a pike in hand that you can't special or kind of interact with. I've had a game where I linked into this just to special summon the Mermail Abyss Pike from my hand to then discard, search, and start triggering and do my water combos. So Abyss, I didn't have this in the extra. I was going back and forth between testing. I will keep this in here moving forward since this is a great card. Plus, it has a disruption effect, where I can banish a. I can target another fish I control and one card my opponent controls and banish them. So this is oddly a great interruption piece too. So, Marincess Coral revives the water back from grave. You know, part of the combo. Generically good link 2 for your deck. You don't need more than one. If you're playing this deck correctly, you should only need one. You can recycle it back with Toad if you really need, but the way you set up should be perfectly fine. Bislecia, part of the main end board. You know, discard to search in your opponent's turn. Also, people just run over this and pop this without knowing the second effect. It Foolish is a water from deck and revives from grave, so people run into this and then you realize it. Then the King Neptibus, obviously, go to card. This is Sprite Elf, so anything it points to cannot be, or water monsters it points to, cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effect, so big end board piece. The non-targeting is why this is obviously so good. This is fantastic card. Add your Abyss spell trap from deck or grave to hand, and then also if it's destroyed, you can add any Mermail or Landy from deck to hand, so respect to the King. I used to play Zealantis. I cut it out for a couple other things. I never came across scenarios where I was like, man, I really wish I had Zealantis for the combo today, so that I don't miss it at all. One of the Virtue Dragons. This adds Virtue Stream from your deck to your hand on summon, which is the Icarus attack. Also recycles detached to add any water back from grave to hand. So obviously fantastic there, and also moves materials. It's rare, but it did come up for me today where I was in a grind game and I exhausted both materials of my Abyss Dweller, and I used this effect to move the material from it under my Dweller to be able to Dweller them on their turn again and then get game on my following turn. It's a great card. The two kind of rank 4s, Abyss Dweller and Kragan. Not much I can say about Dweller. It's Dweller. It's fantastic, this format. Then Stealth Kragan. I was thinking about taking this out because Tempai is kind of no longer in the format. This is mainly in there for Tempai. But it still has its great uses in time. Turns everything water, which can mess with Fiendsmith line. So Kragan is still a good card. I made it once today. Only thing I would take this out for is if I played the Goatee of the Deep Beyond. But I feel like the Goatee of the Deep Beyond with the Shiv is kind of more of a win more. Your board you establish with the Coelacanth already is plenty. I don't feel like you need to play the Deep Beyond at all. I think the Virtue Dragon is way better instead, especially because it works under Shifter, which is the big thing. And with Malice being the format, you got to prepare for that. Dude, totally awesome. The boy in QCR. You know him. You love him. And the two beautiful sharks that summon him. The two Bahamut sharks. Not much to say about that. Mermail Abyss. This you make to slap Poseidra on top of there. I did make this as an end board piece a couple times. It prevents cash monsters from attacking because they're level 5 or higher, so this is great for that. But yeah, mainly you'd use this in your main combo to overlay into this. And this card is bonkers. I won. Anytime I made this going second, I won the game. If I was able to set up a board where I made this, it won. Because even if you're getting to your summons and they like last resort, you summon this, they have a Nibiru. This tributes, you go, oh no. Effect trigger, discard, summon Call of the Atlanteans back. 3 Fish Sea Sermonacos for my grave. Like, this card is insane. Sending from deck to grave for cost and detaching 2 to potentially trigger this. Oh my god, it's so good. I love that card. So that's it for the XZs. And then the last two are the 2 Synchros. Porpoise for the combo. You use this with level 4 and 2 with the Shift and Abyss Pike in the Coelacanth combo. It brings back 2 Pike from your grave because it brings back a fish. Then if you have one in grave with the same name, you bring that one back as well. You can also make this in your normal combo. If you have used Minstrel, you can summon back the level 3 Minstrel off of Poseidra and another level 3, so that's level 6, to get potentially 2 Pike from your grave again. Or if you've hard drawn the Goatee Tuner, discarded it for an effect, and want to make a Dragite in a certain matchup, you can summon that back and use that again. and Dragite, you know. So level 2, make Dragite, Omnispell, Trap, Negate. Fantastic. Side deck. So obviously the side is your Mermail, your non-engine in your main deck, and your Mermail engine should be plenty to beat kind of any more of the roguish decks if you're piloting it correctly. You might run into some maybe weird bad matchups, but no, if you're a good Mermail player, you should be able to take care of those rogues with engine, no problem. So side deck, cater toward Malice and Ryziel. 3 Nibiru, fantastic card. Nibiru plus any other hand trap is you're getting cooked. 3 Pirelias. It is now moved to the side since it's not instantly good really against everything. Ryziel, great. Malice, take it out. You don't need it. 1 Lancia, I was running 3. I moved it down to 1 to make room for 1 more Nib and 1 more Thrust. I was running 2 Thrust, 2 Nib, and 3 Lancia just because the space was kind of a little tight. But my thinking was Nib is already really good against Malice already, and a 3rd Thrust to search like a Tactics or like a Slayer on them, I can send a link, is kind of cooks their board as well. So the thinking was I can move this down to 2 to fit in more things that work with Malice and Ryziel against it, and it worked out great for me today against Malice matchups. 1 Aggregator, because I'm running Ultimate Slayer in the side deck. So what you do is going second, I'll take out one-ofs that I need for full comboing, so I'll take out both my tuners, so the Shift and the Minstrel, because going second, the game plan is just push for game, so you can take out whatever one of the Synchros and just put that in for Slayer. 3 Thrust, was running 2, bumped up to 3. This is an amazing card, this format, especially with how much hand traps are running around. You know, this can literally be any card in the side deck you want. This is amazing side deck card. Then 1 Ultimate Slayer. Ryziel can work with Malice sometime because I have some links, but that never really came out. This is what I was searching for Malice more. Thrust. You know, take their Detonator, take their Fiend's Confusion, everything. And then the 2 going first cards. Sanctum for the 1 of Lancia and D-Bearer. I sided in everything throughout the day, this format. There wasn't anything I really felt that didn't really perform. I think everything was really well balanced, especially for I faced more Ryziel than Malice. I faced 3 Ryziel and 2 Malice, so I mean it was pretty even. I sided in everything, saw it. Never saw the Sanctum under the Thrust for the 2 Malice matchups, but it was there, but I was able to beat him with engine anyway. So I don't think I'll change anything in the side yet, unless something kind of shifts in the format with how people are building. But I really like the side, really like the main deck. I don't think I'll change anything for ratios there. I'll probably kind of go through kind of in depth with kind of over that one loss I had to the guy who got first, kind of seeing if anything. Maybe if I could have changed the ratio, but honestly, nothing comes to mind. I think everything performed really well for me today, and it takes a high skill level to pilot this deck, especially to read. You got to know what you're doing and know what you're putting this. So it's a lot of work, but the rewards of piloting this deck are really great at a regional. Plus, it is the best deck. The only way to play this is max rarity. So, Mermail Atlantean. Best deck. Thank you, guys.